One of the first things that buyers notice when they walk into the home is the smell. If there's pets, if they're cooking, that they cooked and they haven't opened the door to freshen up the air, whether they leave shoes in the hallway that is just stinking up everything. And nothing against the homeowners. Sometimes because they are living in these conditions, they just get used to the smell. But when somebody else comes in, they notice it right away. In this case, it was two things. First one was they had a pet, and I'm sorry to say, because the weather has been cold and it's a small pet, small dog, that they probably were afraid to go outside, take it for a walk. So the pet was using inside of the home for its washroom. So you could tell from the carpet stains, the smell of the house, it was just so strong that you just could not deny it. So smell is the first thing buyers notice. Second thing, soon as we walked inside the house, there was like 40 pairs of shoes in the hallway, just stacked up like on top of each other. It was cluttered. There was nowhere to take off my shoes, nowhere to take off for the client, for the buyers to take off their shoes. We had to step over other shoes in the hallway, in the foyer, to walk into the house. So the clutter, they notice it as well. And the clutter just didn't start and end in the foyer. As we went through the living room, there was stacks of clothes everywhere. I have no idea if they don't have any closets. Somebody else was sleeping in using the family room and the living room as a place to put their clothes. But the living room was not the end of it. When we went into the kitchen sink was full of dishes. Kitchen counters was full of stuff and clutter and pet food and dog food and cereal and you name it, everything. There was no space even for an extra cup. And again, when you look at the dining table, it was full of stuff, and looks like the person was doing something with music and there were speakers around there and you could see the laptop there and they were doing some work over there. So clutter, they notice it. If they have to walk around their shoes or walk around furniture or walk around clothes, or there is no place to put their foot on the ground, they notice it right away. And also the clutter makes the house look small. They're looking at it and they say it's technically, according to the measurements, it's a big house. But because they had so much stuff, the hallway was so cramped, and there was so much furniture, so much clothing, so much dishes everywhere, the house looked small. The third thing people notice is not only the lighting fixtures, but the lighting itself. The windows were all the blinds were down, the curtains were down, there were thick black curtains. Everything looked so dark and small. And on top of that, when we tried to turn on the lights, half the lights did not work. Now, this raises another question. When the lights, if the homeowner does not have enough money to change light bulbs, what else are they lacking to fix? Is the furnace okay? Is the roof okay? What else in the home system is not fixed properly or not well taken care of? I bet you everything is probably, even the house is covered by snow in the exterior of the house. If we were to walk around the exterior of the house during a home inspection, a million things would come up on this house. So the lights, they have to be working. They have to be bright lights, and when you turn them on, the light sockets, the switches to turn on the lights, they have to be clean. They cannot have dirty prints. They cannot have handprints. They have to be able, when you turn on the switch, it can't stick to your finger. So cleanliness is the next one. Item number 4 is the cleanliness. Everything has to be spotless, has to be clean. You cannot have dishes in the sink. You cannot have leftover dishes in the dining table. You cannot have stuff on the clothes, on the ground. You cannot have a made-up bed in the living room. So many things need cleaning. The windows and the washrooms, you cannot have toothpaste, floss things all over the glass where they brush their teeth and they haven't wiped down the glass. Cleanliness matters. When everything is when you walk in, it smells nice. When there's a place to put your shoes, the carpet's clean enough to walk through the house, and the bedrooms are made as a bedroom, the living room is a living room, not the other way around. You cannot use the living room as a bedroom and leave clothes all over the place. You cannot leave the dishes. The dishes has to be clean. The kitchen counters has to be clean. The appliances has to be polished. The windows have to be open. The blinds has to be open. So that way the house looks big and bright. And the next thing is maybe you don't have to update the house to a brand new luxury home. Sometimes a home is expected to, if it's an old home, yes, we do expect the home to be somewhat original, because not everybody spends thousands of dollars, especially in this market, to renovate the home. But we do expect it to be slightly maintained. You cannot have the doors hanging. You cannot any loose things that's falling off. You have to maintain the home. At least it has to be maintained. Everything counts. Even though the buyer is in the house for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they are inspecting everything. During that time, they can see dust. They can see dust on the fans. They can see dust on the air vents. Everything is noticeable when they are in there. When they walk on the floor, they're feeling it to see if the floor is creaking, if there's stuff underneath the floor, how is it? During that 5 minutes, they are inspecting everything. And this home, when we walked in with 40 pairs of shoes and floor is sticky, and the halfway through the house, when we made it into the living room and the dining room, the buyer said, "Do we have to see the rest of the house?" I said, "No, absolutely not." But since the homeowner was inside the house, they said, "Well, we don't want the owner to feel bad that we're coming." I said, "You don't have to feel bad. We don't have to go through this house. This is something that you want to buy, and this home is definitely not it." So we got out and we said, "Thank you for showing us the house," and we left. But unfortunately, maybe somebody did not tell the homeowner this is what needs to be done. If you want the good price, and that's the other thing, this was the highest price in the neighborhood for this house. If somebody wants the highest price, all of these things got to be magnificent, top notch. But unfortunately, we find, and when the price is so high, the quality is so low. So whoever is a listing agent, the real estate agent, they have to tell and share all this information to the homeowner. If you want good money, all of these things. The smell has to be perfect, there should be no smell at all. Lighting has to be on, the clutter has to be removed, the home has to be clean, and at least something has to be maintained, well, if not updated. If you agree or disagree with the 5 items that I just mentioned, the smell, the lighting, the clutter, the cleanliness, and the updating, if you agree or disagree, please put it in the comments below. And if you have found this information helpful, please like and subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.